Right, Shalom Makim, Zahab, Spirit Wind Lawyer of the GMS Mississippi Camp, giving God honor and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rocha HaKodash. I also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, as well as peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. All right, today I want to go into a topic entitled E. You know who E is, all right? Esau and his breeding form of demons. And I was just thinking about this as I was getting off work. And I was thinking about the two main images, archetypes of Jake, of the Israelites. And it's the YNs and the 304s, right? But, I mean, that's something that Esau engineered. 200 years ago, 150 years ago, 300 years ago, Esau literally bred, as you know, the male Jake with the female, right? And he still looks at us in that light. All right, to get the top cash crop nigga, man. But his new form of slavery is the prison industrial complex. That's one of them. So through that lucrative business, he's bred with the perfect prisoner, the perfect criminal. All right, the NBA young boys, the YNs, the Lil Durks, the King Vons, the Pooh Shiesties. All right, those that's his engineering. So it went from him actually literally, for lack of better words, his terminology, breeding a male Jake with a female Jake to actually creating environments where they just naturally reproduce. All right, but systems put in place, well, social engineering put in place through the music, all right, to basically make you a new slave, a YN, a criminal. Okay? Scripture says that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. But now it's used as wartime propaganda, all right, to bring in the National Guard, all right? Now, what happened, rewind 500 years ago with Gad, 400 years ago, 300 years ago? What was the propaganda? The Gad, the so-called Native Americans, were savages, were pagans. They had the U.S. military come and just bring desolation to the Gadite tribes, man, throughout the Americas. Gad, Reuben, Ephraim. But it was the same wartime narrative. These are pagans. They need civilization. They need to be governed. They need to be colonized. Same thing with this YN culture. You created the concept of a YN just to come back and hunt them. You know, these are your breeding forms. Now you're coming back to hunt them. The wicked watcheth over the righteous and seeketh to slay him. And some of us is under that vibration, you know, based off, you know, depending on the generation you grew up in. All right, the thug culture is the same thing. YN is just like a refined thug, man. All right. But Esau has created these urban breeding forms to produce a certain animal. The YN, that's just his animal. That's his slave. The 304s, that's his animal, man. His product, his property. You know, product of the U.S. government, product of the CIA, product of the elites. You see? That's why he parades that image amongst Jake, man. All right, but it's a trap, because once you subscribe to that spirit, now you're putting a target on your back. Because in the same breath, who's being watched? Jacob. The same people that's being seduced into this wickedness through the culture are the same people that's being marginalized, and targeted. Okay? Real shit. So it's another trap, man, because that's what hunters do. You got certain segments of hunting where you're just a trapper, meaning your style of hunting is to set traps for animals. You know. Now, what did they call the hood during the TI era? The trap, or prior to the TI era as well, the trap. Because Esau was a cunning hunter, and he set up traps amongst Jake. Man, he targets Jake like we're fucking deer. You understand that? He targets Jake like we're a fucking animal, you know? You know? But once you subscribe to that archetype, to that stereotype, now you're the animal. And like an animal, you put that target on your back. You put that red beam on your back, man. You know? Esau can't literally control you, but he could manipulate you. He could persuade you. He could seduce you. You know? He's going to put that charagma in to literally control you. You know? But that's his new breeding form. But now Jacob's trouble, he's done. He's done with you, man. He's done. He's allowed you to cause your desolation. All right. He's allowed your environments to be colonized through gentrification. All right, through the U.S. government, and now he's gonna turn up with AI, man. Okay. But you know. And same thing with the 304 culture, man. What Eve don't understand, once you put the image out as a 304, you can't turn that image off. Now, I mean, the world looks at Eve like she's a piece of ass, and a lot of them are. But the thing is, you can't turn that image off. Sexy Red can't turn that image off. You're gonna always be looked at as the little piece of ass among in the party, man. Or this is who they brought to these different campaign parties and stuff. All right, but you'll never be respected as a wife. You know? Same thing with Jake. Jake could denounce his intelligence, his greatness, his morals, just to align himself with this YN thing. But what you don't understand is that's a form of dehumanization. Because now the world will look at you like you're an animal and you're not intelligent. They already look at us like we're basic and we're not intelligent. But how much more once you subscribe to this YN thing, man? Don't get me wrong, some of them songs from the YNs be on point, you know. I don't listen to instrumentals all the time, you know, because that's Jake, man. You know? On point in the sense that it sounds good, you know, it's high energy, make you want to, you know, you working out to it or something, like you could take the world or something, you know what I mean? We just listen to it all the time. But when you actually living like that, oh my gosh, man. But when you align yourself up, when you become that image, now you're basically saying, I'm 3/5 of a man. He engineered you to fulfill his perception of you. Because basically Esau has held the whole world, he's made the whole world subject to his view of them. And if you ever around Edomites, man, and you hear certain things that they insinuate, certain little things they imply, they want the world to basically be primal outside of them. And you're not intelligent unless you're like Esau. You see? Yeah, you're not intelligent unless you're like Esau. Ain't that some shit? You see? Because he's viewing the world from his Idumean Greco-Roman framework. So if you don't speak English the way he thinks you should speak English, if you don't, you know, conduct yourself a certain way, then you're less intelligent. And the whole world has been a victim of his view for what, 500 years? You know? But with this black culture, you're being seduced into falling into the snare of being this inferior being. All right, but furthermore, into the snare of being an animal and something that's dangerous. And if you're something that's dangerous, wait a minute, we got to do something about this danger. Hence, that's why DJ Trump, all right, he sent the National Guard down to these different cities, man. It's wartime propaganda. Now half of America was like, yeah, you got to do something about the crime. You know? But you engineered Jake to be that animal, man. The righteous are more excellent than his neighbor, but the wicked seduceth him. That's not saying that Jacob is not held accountable for his actions. This is the judgment, all right, for your actions. But Esau, you had a lot to do with the influence. Because you study the spirit of men. You study psychology. So you know what you're doing when you put this music out there. You know what you were doing when you put the hertz, the music hertz, the music frequency at 440 hertz as opposed to 432 hertz. Go Google the difference. Go watch a YouTube short of the difference in the vibrations and the wavelengths that comes from a 432 hertz to a 440 hertz. You see? Because your spirit is like water and it's affected by those wavelengths. You see? But now you're turning on your monster. And your monster are these YNs, these 304s, man. And your breeding form is Big Mama. All right, and her mind control is Cesare Borgia. All right, you know, and that's the matriarch. You know, that's the chairman. That's the people at the top in the failed community. Big Mama and Cesare Borgia, because either Papa doesn't exist, he's dead and gone, or he's just at the background somewhere. He's not running the family. Most men don't run so-called black families, man. And the fact that women are quote unquote running it, they're the umbilical cord to their children, man. Whether it's literal through nourishments or just the umbilical cord or the channel of information. So now Jacob is in his laboratory all fucked up. And now 2025, this is what it engendered. YNs and 304s, man. Feminism collided with street culture and created this chaos, you know, on the south and west side of every city. Yeah, they're doing documentaries. Well, I put it like this. You can watch a YouTube documentary on every city in America. It is the same shit. It's just failure. It's just high crime, failure. Niggas want to rap. They way out the hood. Niggas got ops. It's the same shit, man. They might have a different little lingo. Jake might say mine down south, especially Memphis. You know, East Coast, they might say what, son? You know? What the fuck they say, man? All right? There's so many different, you know. You might say Joe. But it's the same shit. Same spirit. Same prison system, just a different prison, you know? It's a different location, man. You know? Cell block flow, man. Cell block 4. Okay, but basically these are just other traps, man. These are more traps. Meanwhile, Jacob is not celebrated unless he's a YN or some athlete. But Esau is just respected just for being a law-abiding citizen. Even the criminals are held in higher regard than our criminals. You see? But Jake got to be this six-figure or multi-million to be respected. Or this YN, this animal that arouses, I guess, Eve's jungle instincts. But Esau is just respected as a regular worker. You know, that's their reward system that Esau puts out to incentivize you to keep doing dumb shit. You know, but that's the point, man. You know, Esau created these demons, man. These are his demons, man. You know, look at the great downfall and the great degeneration from the time of Adam, where Adam, the sons of God, had a kingdom on the planet Earth, to this shit, man. Jake is panicking over SNAP benefits, man. You know, Jake is panicking over food stamps. You know, Jake don't own that as a collective, and we went from paradise on the planet Earth, ruling over paradise on the planet Earth, to fighting over a neighborhood that doesn't belong to you, man. But that's the point. I'm gonna bring this lesson to a closing. I hope brothers and sisters were edified. Once again, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahawashi, Bahashim Kahakudash. I also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. Abba Baal, Kum Yashala, Shalom.